Good morning, party people. I am in Atlanta, Georgia. Enough said. Thanks for watching. Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert. That's me. This video contains things that I tinker with throughout the day. For step-by-step detailed instructions of those tasks, you can click on the links in the comment section below. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. This video also has tips and tricks that I've learned over the years. So, thank you very much for watching. Kicking off the morning with this S80. Beautiful car. T6 has a couple of issues. Number one, it has an issue passing emissions. Given a CAT code. CAT replacement on this with a Volvo CAT, probably looking at $5,200. Has a driver's seat AC fan not working to cool the seat down for you. They say that is extremely difficult to replace that fan in that seat. You're better off just replacing the seat, cheaper, labor wise. May not have had the serpentine belt service. We're going to take a look at that. We're also going to try to figure out where the power steering pump is. If it's down over here, that's a cheaper service for the power steering system, which it looks like it is. If it's over here on the drive belt, which it looks like it is, that's a more expensive service for the serpentine belt. Also, serpentine belt service with pulleys is a little expensive. Also has a evaporator system valve bad, possibly a busted rear spring on the back. So this car may have, repairs that exceed the value on it, and I'm about to change the brake assist pump, rebuild the seals on that. So it's a little bit of a maintenance thing due on this car. In this video, I'm going to be resealing the power brake assist pump. This pump is attached to the rear of a cam, and the seals that are on that pump assembly originally, they shrink like all the other seals, and they are small enough so that they begin to leak oil out of that pump assembly, which is attached to the engine there. You just pull this up. It looks like that's attached to the back of the intake cam, and when it leaks oil, that oil leaks down on your accessory belt. You don't want that accessory belt deteriorating and breaking and either leaving you stranded or destroying the engine. So you want to check, see if you got a lot of dirt buildup on this like you see here. If you do, you likely have it seeping oil a little bit. In this video, we're going to replace the seals on it from a kit that she got from the dealer. And I'll have a link and part number and stuff here. I'm going to show you in a second. That's the part number there. So what I'm going to do is take this intake tube and box, move that out of the way, take this bracket loose right here, move that aside a little bit, maybe take the edge of this box loose here, and then access the screws, 10 millimeters, pull that out, and then it's got a vacuum line on the back of it, and get that out of there, clean it up, put the new seals in. There's another video linked in the comments below that I watched. A guy did an excellent job on that video. Probably did a little more than I'm going to do, so you can see his procedure and use these two videos and get this job done. A couple things I'm going to try to get done today. Number one, I'm going to rebuild that vacuum pump, change those seals in it. Number two, I'm going to check the rear suspension, see if it's got a busted spring. Number three, I'm going to change that emissions valve leak detection pump. I think AutoZone may carry the Bosch pump for like $190, which is $72 on the FCP site. So that kind of stinks. And then we may replace a few of these ignition coils. 2 have been replaced, 4 have not, and it's getting occasional misfires. So I open up the trunk, and this dang thing is lights coming on here. I hope they're LEDs. Other than that, they're running down the dang battery. You take the jack, take this car and jack it up, put a jack stand under it, look for this leak detection pump. We're going to see if we can get this pump hoses off without messing up the pump. The big struggle on this vehicle is getting it to pass emissions. In St. Louis, Missouri here, you're allowed to have 1 item not ready for the car to pass emissions. Right now we have 2. We have an evaporator error code, which we believe is the leak detection pump in the back of the vehicle close to this passenger rear wheel. The other thing is an inefficient cat code. So we got to fix one of these things and get this car to pass emissions. So I'm going to jack the car up, put on jack stand, get under here, find that leak detection pump, see if I could get the hoses off of it so that we can replace it and get that last error code cleared, and so this car could go ready and pass emissions. So we jack up this area, find this jacking point, put a jack stand under there, crawl under the car. Looks like we have a good jacking point there. So I set the jack there. I'm going to break the lug nuts loose and go ahead and jack it up, because I may pull this wheel to inspect the springs real good. Jacking up the car, had it just where the tire was about to lift off the ground, and I stopped for some reason, sat here about 30 seconds and heard this god-awful noise. Sounded like something exploded back here by this tire. Now I suspected it may have a broken spring, so I'm going to look in there and see if maybe a spring is broke, or maybe just broke with the little bit of torque it had on there. After I get this jack stand under here. When you come under the car, close to where I got this set, you can see that valve right up there. So looks like that's the valve, needs to be replaced. It's got 3 T25s on there that could be rusted. It's got a little electrical plug on there. And I'm going to take the screws out and try to slide it to where I can unplug the hoses from it. I can't even really see the hoses on it from here. But it's half of it's white, half of it's black. Took a break from the S80. Seeing if I can offset some of this trip, man. It's a long haul out here from Utah. 13, almost 1,400 miles. A lot of gas, 2 nights in the hotel. Now I'm 2 nights here trying to help Mary with her S80. If I can find something worth picking and selling, I'll be doing good. It's 111 salvage, kind of East St. Louis and Illinois, something like that. See if they got something out here I could use, or one, or something. Foreign cars are out here. If this guy in this truck get out of my way, I can see what they got here. XC90, and these cars are beat the crap. There's a tow hitch out on that one. That's something may be good. Man, if that thing was up a little higher, I can get that out of there. Maybe I'll come back for that tomorrow. Any Volvo 850 manuals, that would be perfect. I'll take any P80 manual, actually. Man, this thing just keeps getting deeper to the right. So I'm going to go down here to the right, and drift back that way, and then come back this way. They said they're rolling cars through here in 30 days. I have a hard time believing that. No dates. I can't tell if they're telling the truth or not. They got these little rolling things on here. There's another XC90 tow hitch. Man, I might do alright. Sell a couple of tow hitches. Get them things off. Get Henrietta back up here. Bam, bam, bam. Knock them things off. Man. And it's got a nice little yard here. Got a little depth to it. I don't see no 850s though. Not a one. Couple of Volvos, but not no 850s. Not yet anyway. This foreign car section got a lot of Japanese stuff. Hey, there's a Mini Cooper. Alright. I think I might have came to the end of the... here's the end of the swap. Man. These people ain't got no love for no 850s out here. Got a little swamp over there. Maybe got some snakes. Doubt if they got any gators. It's too cold around here for gators. They would die in the winter up here. But not one P80. I got a gas truck. I could probably fill that thing up with gas and make it around the country on that much gas. Whew. It's a lot of gas, people. Alright. No 850s or nothing yet. I didn't see one P80. Couple of Volvos though. P2 things. P2 cars. Couple of Jags. They don't have an inventory here. They claim. They just throw out what they got, sell that stuff off, look to get another one. So, it is what it is. We got a P1 over here. (2009) automatic, no engine, no trans. Alright, that was a nice little glimpse. Yeah, it's got seats in it too. Top still on it. Beamer. We got more Beamers here than Volvo. Somebody else must be buying up the Volvo. Audis. That's it, folks. Not one P80. Oh, a Riviera. Man, I used to love those cars. Let me see if they got another yard close by here I can go check. Driving someone's car on a test drive somehow triggered the nav system to come up on it. So when you turn the car on, nav system comes up. Didn't know how to get it down. None of the buttons on the front of the steering wheel does anything for it. Found these buttons up here. So you hit enter, then you get the navigation screen, then you hit back, then you get this current screen, Then you scroll down with this button, down, down, down. Then it's on shutdown, and then you hit enter. And it shuts it down and retracts it, and you never have to see it again unless you activate it. To activate the nav system on this S80, of course you turn the car on, and I believe you find these buttons here, and you hit enter. Enter will activate that and give you a disclaimer, and to get that disclaimer to go away, you hit enter again, and the disclaimer goes away and gives you the nav screen. Then you can navigate through the system with this joystick and these two buttons up top. I'm gonna kick this off by taking out this air box. You pull this back, take this clamp loose, and take loose the plug for the map sensor. Probably has a little trigger. I can feel it pushing in, and push down on that. It's going to take two hands. Somebody tried to put the air box on, never put that on right, so they zip tied this side of it. So I'm going to take that zip tie loose, take those 3 screws loose, pivot this lid a little bit that way so I can reach that plug better, get that unplugged. That was unplugged, got that screwed up and off, undid this clamp, loosened that clamp, and that kind of pivots out of the way a little bit. Now I'm going to try to move this side of the box out of the way, lift this cord up, unsnap this. Let me get a flat tip screwdriver, unsnap that on that side. This should lift up out of the way so that I can reach the back behind there to get those screws. Pop that loose, pop the one over here loose, and then I'm gonna do the 2 down the bottom. Oops, well that went pretty far. And pull it up out of the way. I don't have a screwdriver long enough to hit that clip on the bottom of this tray on the other side, so I'm going to take this hose loose and move it out of the way. Then I should be able to reach it. So this hose has a tab on this side. You push in, squeeze it in or push it in with a screwdriver, and it may let you slide that out. That's what I'm going to try. I can't tell if it has one on the other side. I know it has one on this side. So let me push that tab in, see if I could unplug that hose, vacuum hose. So this thing here, to get this off without breaking it, you got to really squeeze both sides to get this thing to open up. It'll come back about 1/4 of an inch, and you got to squeeze it again to get it to come back the other 1/4 of an inch. But that's the vacuum hose out of the way. So maybe I can get that latch down there now on the bottom of this tray. Since this is out of my way, I'm going to try to reach that latch now. Oh, that didn't sound good. Hope I didn't crack that dang hose. I hope that's not a hose that cracks. Let me peel this back a little bit. I hope that didn't crack. That would suck. That'd be a vacuum bugger. So I unplugged this hose. Do not move that hose from that location, because I lifted it up onto here to get it out of my way, and it cracked back down in that joint. So now I need to replace this hose somehow. And that doesn't look like it's going to be fun. So don't do what I did. Anyway, let me go ahead and proceed, get this pump out of here, and go from there. So I released the lower latch on this battery deal. Set the battery cable out of the way. I unplugged the vent for the battery deal. I got this up and out. And it looks like this battery vent just comes right out of that little hole there. Now, with this like this, I'm going to remove this screw here. Looks like a 10. That looks like a 13. So I can pivot this bracket back a little bit and get it to the other 10mm bolt right there. I got a 10mm bolt there, 10mm bolt there. Then I can slide that pump out of there. Pull the 10mm out here, 13 here. Now I can pivot this bracket out of the way so I can get to that 10 there. So let me get that 10 out there, get that 10 out over there, and this pump should slide out from away from the engine cam. Wouldn't be a bad idea to start out by disconnecting this negative battery cable, tucking it back out of the way so that it doesn't get back on the battery. Now that I have those two screws out, this pump should massage out and away from this engine. Let me get my hands on it with some gloves and pull it away from the engine. Also a good idea to put a rag under it so when some of the oil comes out of it, it doesn't saturate your serpentine. It pulled right out away from the engine. So there it is. Remember how that part right here is channeled? When you put this back in, it's got to go in the channel of that cam in there. That's got to go back in. The angle would come out. And this thing just turns. And you can hear it pumping air. So you got to change this seal here. Then we're going to take these T25s out and open that up, and there's a seal in there that we changed a little bit better type. Then we take this nipple out, clean that up in there, and change that seal in off of there. Got all the screws out. Lift this up and off. Need to clean all this gunk off of here. Scrape this seal out of here. And got some oil in there, so try not to spill all that oil out somewhere. Put it in an oil drain. This thing pivots around somehow as this thing turns. But this actually lifts up and out of there, so you could take that out of your way. Clean that up. Doesn't look like it has up or down. It's this, either way it's the same. It's all hard plastic. So you can clean that oil out of there if you like. I dropped some dirt down in there, so I definitely want to get that out of there. Right, let me get something, clean this oil residue, carbon like stuff off of this. Pull that seal out. Pull this thing out here and replace this stuff with what's in the kit. Here's the part number from the kit from Volvo. Comes with 2 seals, all 6 screws or 5 screws that go in the unit, that vacuum plug that goes in the unit. That's that. Use a nylon brush, hard nylon brush with some brake parts cleaner, and I cleaned the residue of the seal and I guess carbon off of that, so that's nice and clean. I wiped around here, that's clean enough. Now I'm going to put my screwdriver in there, force this out on both sides of that. I'm going to spray that out because I got some dirt in there, but I'm going to force this out and clean that up with some brake parts cleaner and the brush, and then I'm going to pop the new one in there. It had kind of like tabs on both sides because it's old and brittle. One of the tabs broke totally off. Make sure you get that out of the part. Go ahead and wipe that out. Push the new one in. I'm going to put the new seal around there. Clean this dirt that fell in there out. Brake parts cleaner. Clean this part off a little bit so that it's not gunked up. In case it ever starts leaking again, you'll be able to tell. After I get this together, I'm going to spray this stuff down, brakes parts cleaner, and brush that off. I see a little bit of dirt fell down in that pulley, you know, just to get this stuff clean so that it's not gunked up, and if it starts leaking again, you'll be able to tell. Get it all cleaned up. When you push this piece in here, push it in until that tab is all the way forward in there. You'll hear it click in, it'll fall all the way in place. Next, I'm going to place the new seal in this groove out here, the new seal on that groove there, and push this thing back in there, making sure I put that plastic piece back here and making sure that's lined up with the back of the cam. So you set that new seal in there, set this back in here, set this on here however the puzzle fits, and snug those 5 screws down, brand new screws, T25. The new screws in and tightened down. I got the seal on that inside lip pushed on. Now I'm going to look in there and line this up so that it falls in that cam the way it's supposed to. It only goes on one way for that line to hook up and those 2 bolts to line up. So let me press this in there, get those 2 10mm bolts on there, and then work on figuring out what I'm going to do with that line. Probably replace that line, put the rest of the stuff back together. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.